It's Manx magic on RPM tonight as we cross the Irish Sea once more for Rally Isle of Man, round 6 of the Irish Tarmac Rally Championship. There may be no World Rally cars, but there are future Irish Rally stars competing on one of Europe's fastest rallies.
The Manx lanes have provided the Irish drivers over the decades with a chance to shine against the best in Britain and Europe, and 2009 will be no exception. The Manx rallying memories provide enduring images of the Irish rallying past. It was the one rally that got away from the late Bertie Fisher and Rory Kennedy. They never won this European Classic, in spite of winning performances in a BMW M3 and ProDrive Subaru, which they led the stylish German WRC driver Armin Schwartz. Bridge engineer Kenny McKinstry had that epic battle with Richard Burns and many epic battles with the island's roads. Kenny has returned year after year, but like Bertie, his performances have won the hearts of many, but so many times narrowly missed out on the winner's laurels. But that dream came true for Frank Maher in 1995, who became the first Irish winner since Adrian Boyd in 1973. And in recent times, Eugene Donnelly led the WRC generation with 2 victories in 06 and 07.
And long flat right, 100, keep flat right.
But with no WRC cars on the island this time, all that's left are the recent memories of these weapons traversing the classic Isle of Man stages. Is it a new awakening for the Irish Tarmac Championship in these financially troubled times? The WRC cars have left us with some mighty memories and some mighty Manx drives.
Driving the rally into 2009, number 1 seed is 4 times Manx Rally winner Mark Higgins in his Group N Subaru in what is to be a tough rally.
Yeah, we've got 100 miles today, 80 miles tomorrow, very tough stages. We're starting off with some of the hardest ones in the roads over here. So it's going to be difficult to get a pace, and I think you've got to build yourself into it. If you go too hard too quickly, you could end up with trouble.
I'm sure you're glad you have Keith to race, because there's no World Rally cars to race this year.
No, I know, but I don't want Keith beating me neither. So, it'll be a good race, I'm sure.
Leaving the ramp at number 2, but leading the British Championship, Cork's Keith Cronin, who has been a sensation.
We've had a great start to this British Championship. Never expected to be leading it, not halfway through the year. This is probably going to be our toughest event now, because it is Mark's home rally, and the tough recce yesterday, but stages look nice. I think I'll try to start the same way I started in the Jim Clark, but without the puncher. We'll just try to go reasonably quick on the first couple, and as I said, if I think I can push that bit harder to get close to Mark, then I will, but I think it will be hard here because he'll know all the little bits and pieces where he can push that extra bit and where he has to come back a bit. Like, he's done it so many times. Like, I just know it will be very difficult, but hopefully we'll be able to keep him some bit honest. But we'll see at the end of the rally. Second will be a good result here too, I think.
Fisher and Kennedy are 2 names synonymous with the island, and Alistair Fisher has Rory Kennedy in the co-driver's seat.
Hopefully Rory should keep me right. He's been here enough time, so hopefully it should be good.
Has he been telling you any stories of different places on the island?
There's been a few stories there, but hopefully not be going into some of the ditches he went into.
Time to wake up on this sunny Friday morning as Carrie Duff's Johnny Greer, another young hopeful, leaves the TT grandstand. Ahead of him in day 1 alone are 12 stages, including some of the most technical tests, such as Keller and Ravensdale, which tackle the famous Brandy World section on the first loop. With the route compacted into 2 days with no loss of mileage, it will be 2 days of seriously tough rallying for the crews. Whilst the top WRC competitors have elected to sit at home, they will no doubt miss traversing the fast-flowing Manx side roads.
A new awakening, maybe, as Group N cars head the field. Mark Higgins is the first to admit that Group N seriously caps costs compared to WRC cousins, and his job is, as ever, to take the most from the machine he's got. It's a job he does well on stage 1, 5 seconds up on Keith Cronin, But the master of the Manx roads is about to get a rude awakening, as Mark will lose his lead after stage 3. And the missing left rear tail light is evidence of how hard, perhaps too hard, Mark has been pushing. Keith Cronin and Greg Shinners have been sensational this season, but no one would dare to think they could match, let alone head Mark Higgins on his home patch. But the 22-year-old Bantry driver has already stolen 2 victories this season to lead the British Championship. Here on stage 2, Kella, they sensationally slash 7.6 seconds from Mark to take the lead. It's a gap they extend to 17 seconds after stage 3 when Higgins spins. But Keith too has his moments as he speeds onto the famous Brandywell jumps. The Cork driver's commitment on his first visit to the Manx is nothing short of sensational. 21-year-old Alistair Fisher is another rising Irish rally driver, and he settles into an early 3rd place in the PPG Lancer Evo 9.
100, crest, slowing 115.
Rory Kennedy coolly reads the pace notes, and the pair have made a fast start. But such is the frantic pace at the front, they're 1 minute 4 seconds off leader Cronin after 3 stages.
4 left in, slippy of wet, and 2 right, what's the surface? 2 left.
But the leaders have had their moments, as these skid marks on the Druiddale section of stage 3 are evidence. Mark Higgins has had a big spin.
Watch here, stop, 3 right minus Titans, and the 4 left.
3rd place at the moment is a very satisfactory morning's work, as there are a lot of young hopefuls behind this crew.
Minus, glitch out.
One such hopeful is Pirelli star driver Adam Gould, who's 5th, 26 seconds behind Alistair, as he crabs to the end of this stage with damaged rear suspension. Scottish youngster David Bogey has made a slow start back in 8th. But Johnny Greer and Kirsty Riddick have started quickly, lying 4th, just 4 seconds behind his old Fiesta Championship rival, Alistair Fisher. And in this year's Battle of the Fiestas, 19-year-old Waterford sensation Craig Breen is aiming to move into the UK Fiesta Series lead.
For sure, it's going to be the toughest weekend that I've ever had, even regards to the World Championship. It's so much tougher, a lot to contend with, and obviously, a lot of Fiestas to contend with as well. So for sure, we get the first 8 stages over today and get the Fiesta bit out of the way, and hopefully I need maximum points this weekend badly, so we'll see how it goes.
With rivals Chris Hall and Mark Donnelly both rolling on the opening stage, Craig jumps into a commanding lead. The former kart racer already leads the Irish Fiesta Series and is well placed in the World Fiestas in his first full season of rallying. Amongst the other Irish interest, Rory Byrne is over to pursue Group N Irish Tarmac Championship hopes, and his championship rival Alan Carmichael was a late withdrawal. Broken wheel studs force a withdrawal for Tarmac Class 6A leader Dara O'Riordan in his Corsa. Hoping for more luck in his 1600cc Citroen C2 Max is Marty McCormick.
I would say that the Max is a big improvement on the old car. Just, there's a lot of things that are improved. The suspension's improved, there's a bit more torque and things, and the car all-around package is a lot better. And it took a while, it just took a few events to get on to the extra speed in the car, and a few settings and a bit more advanced to set up and things, but things is going well, and the car's going very well for me, and I have to say that it's a good improvement, and it's getting good results there. So
it's a little bit shaky at the start for the Draperstown driver, who leads the Citroen Racing Trophy UK.
5 right. 5 right now, and
this stage 1 corner spins the little C2.
3 left into 4. Woo!
But Marty and co-driver Phil Clark are getting back to full speed. They're 4th in the Citroen standings after 3 stages. A problem with the brake pads not aiding their confidence, but the best is still to come as the little 1600 car bounces between the Manx banks.
60, flat crest 80. 3 right minus and 1 left over bump.
But on to the second loop as leader Keith Cronin attacks stage 4, the daunting 21-mile Newton stage. He will drop just 3 seconds to rivals Higgins on this test, but towards the end of the test, he so nearly drops the whole lot.
Brilliant run through the first 3, leading it. Surprised to be. We had, bar the first stage, with a good run 2 and 3. But things are in a bit pear-shaped there now through 4 and 5. Stage 4, we're having a really good run through there, and just slid out wide on a very fast corner and just touched the bank. We were lucky to get away with it, but we obviously have to do more damage than I thought, because in halfway through stage 5 the back diff went and dropped over a minute in there. So I don't know what the story is now. So
The Cronin catastrophe had handed Mark back the lead, and it's obvious he's really attacking.
Keith's been going very, very hard, and to be honest, that long stage, we are both, there's marks and hedges everywhere. It's pretty wild, to be honest, and not a comfortable pace, should I say.
It looks far from comfortable inside Alistair Fisher's Evo as well, as the County Tyrone driver attacks the long Newton stage, adding a few extra metres in his efforts here. Indeed, that fourth stage wasn't kind to Alistair, with 2 spins, and he drops a little to fourth.
120 right.
It's his rival Johnny Greer who takes full advantage, moving into third spot, and Adam Gould, with his Subaru now straightened, is also closing in. Back in the two-wheel drive race, and Marty McCormick is moving up the field.
And 2 right very long opens over crest into 2 left long and 3 left long opens.
By the end of stage 5, he's 12th overall and just behind his C2 rival Welshman Jason Pritchard. Marty was awarded this C2 R2 Max for winning the Irish C2 Cup in 2008, and he can scoop serious prize money if things go to plan this weekend. And Craig Breen looks to be heading for the prizes too, as he heads the Fiestas, and we take a short siesta on RPM. Join us after the break.
Back to the Rally Isle of Man as the international crews tackle the final 6 stages on day 1. Rally leader Mark Higgins has a 53-second lead over Keith Cronin as he tackles the afternoon stages. By stage 10, the first of the 2 Castletown runs, the gap is the same. Mark opens it out slightly to over a minute by day close.
What do you think of this man, Keith Cronin?
I think he's doing fantastic, to be honest, and he's kept himself well below the radar for a couple of years, put his homework in, and now to do what he's doing over here, I think is pretty incredible for the first time. He's definitely a big talent, and his notes are obviously working well. He's only 22, and I hope he's got a good future, and he's a great lad with it.
For Keith, the afternoon stages demonstrate his speed once more, with fastest times on stages 8 and 11. But that time loss must have knocked a little bit of wind from his sails. Alistair Fisher moves back into 3rd place in the afternoon as he traverses this tricky left-hander, which is just about to claim Johnny Greer.
100 right.
Consistency is key, and the Fisher engineering team have been consistent all day as they tackle the unique challenge of the Marine Drive stage. And despite the dry roads, there have been a lot of incidents.
60, 3 right minus, tightens to 4, watch tightens to 4, and the 4, 3 left.
Yeah, there's been a lot of dramas. I think everybody sort of feels the same. The tyres are really just on their limit. You're just trying to take corners so hard, especially on the fast stuff, like 120 mile an hour into 1s and 2s. It's so hard on the tyres. It's a really tough day.
A tough day indeed, as on stage 8, Johnny Greer rolls out, but Adam Gould, now 4th, has closed to within 1 second of Alistair Fisher. In the 2-wheel drive race, Tom Walster leads in 8th place overall in the 2-litre R3 Clio. Marty McCormick is beginning to put the pressure on as he tackles this very narrow section, stage 7. These tight and twisty sections seem to suit the C2, and Marty has moved ahead of Jason Pritchard in this Citroen Trophy round. By the end of the leg, he lies 9th overall and is set to take the 2-wheel drive lead.
Things are going well today now, and the conditions of the roads are exemplary, like the great condition. A few issues were getting a few brake pads and stuff better than this morning, and we clipped a stone on the first stage and spun. But apart from that, everything's going well.
Craig Breen takes maximum points in the Fiesta UK Challenge.
We pushed on very hard in the morning, got out a good gap, the sort of minute-and-a-half gap that you can change a puncture in. So that's what I wanted really, and just kept it very much conservative for the rest of the day. And we've come to the end of stage 8, which is the end of the Fiesta Rally, and we won, so absolutely chuffed. It's time to push on now and get back into the lead of the two-wheel drive, which is what I want really. So I can afford to push now and see how that goes.
Rory Byrne in 13th has a little clutch trouble as the crowds in Castletown enjoy their annual thrill. And there are some big thrills to come. Not least from former British Rally champion Gwyndaf Evans, who sets 4th fastest time overall in his historic Mark II Escort RS 1800 to lead the impressive historic entry as they wag their tails to the Castletown crowds in that spectacular sideways style. Higgins will need his overnight rest as there's some serious stage mileage on day 2, but the 4 times winner is a worried man as he now has a serious clutch problem discovered after the team changed the gearbox at the day 1 final service. With such a big day ahead to the grandstand finish, every one of these stage miles will be worrying for Mark. The rally leader has over a minute in hand, but that could evaporate quickly.
The boys did a good job last night getting the gearbox changed, but unfortunately something's happened in the clutch and we've just driven out of here and we've got no clutch at the moment, so we've got 10 minutes to have a look at it when we come in here. But it could be that we have to start the rally with no clutch at all, which is going to be using the starter button to try and get us around. Obviously we won't be able to get off the start line and things like that, but I think once we get going in the stages it won't be a massive problem.
Yesterday it was Keith's mechanical problem that cost him a minute, and now the pressure is on Mark to minimise his time delays as he coaxes the Subaru off the line with the start motor on the opening Glenroy stage. Mark drops 5 seconds on the Glenroy tests, 6 here on the next stage, and as Keith Cronin's supporters await his arrival on stage 15, Glasgow, Mark is struggling for gears and for time.
I think I've aged about 500 years in the last few hours, but no, we couldn't get around. We had no handbrake and no clutch, you see. So you got that on film, did you? That's embarrassing.
Well, it was good that some of the Keith supporters actually pushed you off the nets.
I noticed that. I saw the Cronin badges. No, it was great, and I think it shows the atmosphere in this championship. It's good.
Keith Cronin has been pushing flat out as his fans urge him on, taking 4 fastest times in a row, 31 seconds on this stage and 15 seconds on the next Keller stage, which really surprises Higgins. With Mark also incurring a 10-second penalty for leaving his service late, Keith is back in the lead. Alistair Fisher has to keep the pace up as he has Adam Gould breathing down his neck, and he drops 2 seconds to the English driver here on Glenroy to let him ahead.
Right over junction, 120.
They tie in the following stage, but a very good time here on stage 15 puts Alistair ahead again by 5 seconds by midday service. Adam Gould is pushing hard, but his rally is to end in a high-speed roll on the first stage after service. And another Irish driver moving up is Marty McCormick. He has now put himself firmly in the lead in the two-wheel drive runners in 8th place overall. After 16 stages, he has a 48-second buffer over his nearest C2 challenger, and that's Jason Pritchard. The Welsh driver is the second two-wheel drive in 9th place overall. Here's Craig Bream in car 16, now free of his Fiesta Trophy duties. His car ends in a ditch on stage number 16. Whilst Rory Byrne is still delayed with some troubles. But the New Zealand lady, Molly Taylor's troubles are much more major. All is okay except the car, as the remaining crews try to keep their cars on the island to decide the final positions.
In the historics, Desi Nutt takes the class for pre-1967 cars. Derek and Roisin Boyd are third post-historic car home, whilst Phil Collins with Dermot Falvey co-driving are the second classic car home, behind winner Gwyndaf Evans, whose stage times would have put him very near the front of the main field. Another legendary drive from the Welsh legend. It's been a glorious weekend so far in the Isle of Man as we round out the top 10. Local ace Andrew Leese is 10th overall in his Fiesta ST. whilst Tom Walster eventually scores 9th in his Rapid Renault. Jason Pritchard collects valuable Irish tarmac points in 8th. But Marty McCormick and Phil Clark are set to scoop €4,000 in prize money from Citroën for being the top two-wheel drive car and the first Citroën C2 home in 7th place overall, despite late rain making the final stages slippery.
Things went unbelievably well for us. Like, I have to say, we're really happy. Cars run faultless. We had a few issues just with the brakes and things. We got them sorted out. It was more our own choices just, and we got things sorted out. And today, again, had a great run there this morning.
Finishing 50 seconds in front of Marty, Dave Weston Jr. in 6th, with another young Scot, Ewan Thorburn, in 5th. Manxman Steve Quinn had a great run to 4th in his Group A Evo 6.
But over 3 minutes ahead of him, Alistair Fisher and Rory Kennedy are set to put the Fisher-Kennedy combination on the podium once more with a well-judged drive to 3rd place. It's a result that promotes Alistair into the Group N lead of the Irish Tarmac Championship, and the next round is at home on the Ulster International.
What a job. Well done, boy. Fantastic.
Good job. Yeah, it's a good result. Very happy. The team's put in a lot of effort this weekend, so it's good to get a good result.
Keith Cronin is making it a grandstand finish as he pushes Mark Higgins to the wire, but a puncture puts paid to his race. However, 2nd is a magnificent result.
I had to settle for 2nd in the end, but I suppose it was my own fault. We picked up a puncture there and Kringle the 2nd time. Up to that, we had been fighting very hard with Mark, and to be honest, I was surprised to be on his pace here. I never expected to come here and be able to fight with Mark, but to do it was great. To come away with 2nd, not so good, because I think maybe only for my couple of mistakes we might have been able to win the rally. But
Mark Higgins, as ever, has driven superbly, and he too has come through problems to take a record-breaking 5th Rally Isle of Man victory, beating the record previously held by Tony Pond and Russell Brooks. The result moves Mark into a joint lead in the British Series, and Eugene Donnelly still leads the Irish Tarmac Championship as they all head for the Ulster International.
Yeah, it's pretty special. That's when you think of Tony Pond, who was fairly elitist over here. So no, I'm delighted, and it's been a very tough rally. Probably one of the toughest Manxes I've ever done before.
Join us next time on RPM for the Dog Leap Rally.